What is up? Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Shred Show Live. You can see the two beautiful ladies hanging out with me this morning, and the discussion we're about to have is even more beautiful. It's going to be inspiring. It's going to be valuable. You're not going to want to miss it. As a matter of fact, it's going to be one of those that's going to help you level up your game, because now more than ever, you have to be finding ways to differentiate yourself. You have to be finding ways to make yourself a champion within your own market, and we're going to be discussing just that. How do you start to look at opportunities? Are you thinking about non-QM? If not, you need to be, because there is so much opportunity within the space right now, ladies and gentlemen. We cannot even begin to share everything with you. So are you ready? Are you ready? It is time to shred. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Hey. I am so very excited. The two incredible women that I have joining me this morning. We've got Kimberley Torres, EVP of Sales at Champions Funding. And then we've got the talented, the beautiful, the always inspiring Christy Mindell hanging out with us this morning as well. I am so excited. Everybody knows that I have this amazing relationship with Christy. She's been a friend for a long time. She's one of those people. She's been a mentor. She's been one of those people that I always look to, especially when it comes to marketing. And now more than ever, what we're going to be discussing can really help you within your marketing efforts. So I'm excited to dive in this show with these ladies, because it is going to be valuable. I promise you, you're going to learn something, and you're going to be able to level up your game. You're going to become a champion in your own right. So stick around for this conversation. Tag everybody in your office. Hit that share button. Tag somebody that needs to hear this, because I promise you, this is going to be an incredibly valuable discussion. But before we get into our topic of conversation this morning, I want to get to know these ladies a little bit better, as we always do, because like I tell you, this is all about relationships. You want to know the people. You want that trust factor. You want that relationship factor. So I'm so excited, because Katie has become a new friend, a new acquaintance, and I'm so excited to get to know her. So Katie, welcome to the show. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started in the industry.
Oh, sure. Well, I've been in mortgage pretty much my entire adult career. So since the late 90s. In terms of
the late 90s, so you got started when you were what, 8, 6 in this industry? So
that's what I was thinking.
No. And I started honestly in compliance. I moved to setup. I worked my way from setup to processing, from processing to underwriting. I used to run operations teams, and then I got put into sales. My boss at the time said, "Okay, you're going out now in the field." And I was like, "Oh gosh, no," because that just seemed terrifying. But then when I got a taste for sales, I really found my groove. And since then, I've kind of worked my way up from regional positions to then national positions. And now I'm the EVP of Sales at Champions Funding.
See, I love stories like this, KT, because you start from the beginning, you learn, you get better, you grow, you continue to surround yourself with incredible people, with incredible organizations like Champions. And then you get into these roles where you have the opportunity to impact and change people's lives. And you started from the bottom. Those are I love that. We all do, but it's just so much fun hearing starting in compliance. Nobody likes compliance. No, none of us are like, but somebody, Christy's like, I like compliance.
A little bit, yeah.
There's always got to be a little bit, but for the most part, it's always it's so much fun to hear those stories. So Katie, I'm excited to have you on the show this morning. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Christy, you've been on the show before. I'm excited to have you back on. You always bring this excitement, this enthusiasm, this energy, and being the EVP of Sales at Champions, you continue to do that. Like I'm so excited to have you. For those who don't know you, give a little bit of background, because again, I know you come from an incredible background in this industry as well.
Yeah, I jumped into this EVP of marketing role, and it has been a game changer, because Champions allows me to do all the things that I absolutely love about mortgage and absolutely love about marketing. So it's been a really fortunate. I too came from, a place where I was literally the receptionist for a branch in West Covina, California at Remax Masters, where I kind of got into this real estate thing, and really quickly the office administrator there was like, "Hey, I see you could do more." And I'm like, give me more. Let me learn about this business. And then I kept going after, the next job and the next job. And so over a period of time, I didn't really know what marketing meant as a 20-something-year-old in the industry, but I really like talking to people about it. I really liked helping people understand. And I kept asking a lot of questions, and they said, "You're really good at marketing." I said, "What is that?" So then I started diving in, learning, and started finding some really awesome mentors. And I really love sales. I'm very entrepreneurial, sales minded. So Katie and I super click on that front. You and I super click on that front. We think like the same. We think outside the box and different. And so that's what makes it really fun and mortgage is to do marketing in this industry, because you have such a great opportunity to do a really cool thing.
Oh, that's the best part about it, is there's
Yeah.
always an opportunity as long as we're continuing to push ourselves. And actually, to what was just said here, always hungry. I love this comment by Melanie's, because you always have to be hungry. You always have to show up. You always have to be shredding. You always have to look for these opportunities to better ourselves. And that's what we're doing today with what we're sharing, what we're discussing today. We want to help our industry really start to differentiate themselves. With interest rates on the rise, with some fear within the industry, it's like I was at 2 conferences last week, and I heard the fear within this industry right now. We have to be looking at opportunities. We have to be looking at what can we be sharing with our consumers? How can we be educating them that is ultimately going to help them? That's going to help all the Americans achieve that dream of home ownership in whatever way, shape, or form. And we're going to be discussing that in a way that I'm excited for, because it's almost a buzzword. It's almost something that you've heard of, but it's almost, there's such a misconception. There's some ideas that are floating, some myths that are just not true about it. So I will get into that. But both of you come from agency lending backgrounds or TPO backgrounds within the space, but now you've completely shifted and now you're dedicated to non-QM. And that's like non-QM is one of those things. And before all of your eyes glaze over and you're like, oh, non-QM, we want to talk about this in a way for you, ladies and gentlemen, everybody listening, our community. We want to talk about this in a way that actually is going to help you improve your business. It's going to add opportunities. We want you to be able to go out and share with your consumers about how they can take advantage of this. So tell us. Katie, let's start with you. Why non-QM?
Well, I mean, I originally started, like I said, late 90s, right? So we're doing 125s and then shifting into the alt-A space. And after the crash, I came back into agency, but I've always been in very tight markets, right? So I worked for a lender that did manual underwrites on conventional, very weird space to be in. Right. Very labor intensive. Then I transitioned into government underwriting and low FICO underwriting because I worked with Evan at other divisions, which was Clear Vision or Pacific Union. So I've always been in this niche of wanting to really be able to take deals and make a yes happen. That's something that I kind of thrive on with the whole background of operations. I can flip a file inside out backwards, but really being able to add value that's differentiated is what I see in the non-QM space. As we know, 2020, 2021, a lot of us were selling rates in the 1s and 2s. And for now, with everything kind of shifting, it's more about see a need, fill a need. Ooh. And so my entire career has been dedicated to adding real value. And this, I thought, was my largest opportunity to really be impactful with the value that we can add to the community that we serve.
Oh, I love that. The community, that is one word that I think is so underutilized. We are a mortgage community. Community is people that serve one another. We help one another. I know both of you ladies have dedicated your lives to, again, both of you mentioned that you've been doing this for a couple of years. It's been, both of you are experienced veterans of the industry, but we are a community. And that's what this is about today, is sharing how we can help one another. So Christy, same thing. Again, you come from this incredible background. You and I have known each other for a long time. Why non-QM? Why did you go into this space?
Yeah, you kind of get in that spot where you're comfortable in an area. TPO is an area I know for wholesale marketing and all the relationships that you've built with sales teams and account executives and our brokers and all that. And you kind of leave that and go, okay, why non-QM? It was a tough decision for me for about a couple months that I was thinking about it. But at the end of the day, what I really wanted to do was do something that was different, something that really made an impact for brokers that wasn't like everything else. And really, this is an area that I've worked in before, but not in this new way where it's a lot easier to do a non-QM loan these days, whereas it was 30 to 45 days before. No longer is that true. So Why not join like this total great opportunity for brokers, for account executives, for companies to dabble in this area and stay hyper focused. And I think that's one of the things that really drew me to it from a marketing perspective. I could be hyper focused on non-QM and really just crush it out there. Take all that knowledge from all the years and really just focus on one product. It's a blessing.
We're going to dive into that here more in just a second, because I do think being able to niche, being able to go deep with one thing in particular really is, it allows us, again, we have this incredible knowledge base as industry professionals. Sometimes I think we go too wide. We're trying to do everything. We're trying to do first time home buyers. We're trying to do this. We're trying to do this. We're trying to do this. And sometimes we spread ourselves too thin. So I want to come back to that in a sec, but why do you think non-QM, I mentioned it as a buzzword. I think it is something a lot of people are talking about. We're seeing it in a lot of the discussions, the forum groups that we're in, a lot of the Facebook groups. Why do you think non-QM is taking off the way that it is right now? Katie, let's start with you, and then Christy, we'll go back to you.
Well, I mean, to me, I feel like non-QM is so much more than a buzzword. Again, going back to that whole see a need, fill a need, I recognize that there's a lot of people who are challenged. They've seen their inventory drop off significantly. That creates problems where LOs are looking for more products to sell. That's kind of creating some sort of dislocation in terms of, these are market demanded products. So really non-QM is taking off because everybody's already picked off low hanging fruit, right? And the people who could refinance in 2020 and 2021 did. But there is a huge population of borrowers who have equity that's built up in their homes that they haven't been able to tap into. Mm-hmm. There's a huge population of borrowers who have been waiting in line for 30, 45 days at a different lender trying to get a bank statement loan, and it falls out. And so it feels really good to be able to come in at the 9th hour and make that closing happen within 10 days and do that consistently. And consistently show up for the brokers, for the borrowers in a way that other people just can't. And so in terms of it being like a buzzword, there's a lot of excitement around it because it's a viable option. It's a solution where there was not accessibility to financing for these borrowers previously. It was like the loan fell out and, oh, wow, right? Hard money. And so this is actually a way to provide access to financing that is responsible.
Oh, it is responsible. And like you mentioned, there's a lot of people out there right now, a lot of, I guess we'll call them our consumers, our clients, that just are unaware that these products, like you said, so many of us focused on the low hanging fruit in 2020, 2021, but there's this huge percentage of people that are like, hey, well, we don't fall into this category. We have a unique, background. We have a unique situation here. Can you help us out? And so many of us just ignored them. We're just like, no, sorry. I've got these vanilla loans I'm going to go do here. I've got these vanilla opportunities, but now we're all scrambling and we're like, oh, I mean, Christy, is that why? Is that because we focus on the easy stuff?
I think people just get used to what they do and they do it well and they have a flow and they don't want to disrupt that. But I think, part of growth as a professional is that you have to do the things that are hard. And so if you think about it, I mean, these non-QM things are really cool because I call them things, but these non-QM products are really cool because not only do you just get to do what you know already, but you're actually serving your customer in a deeper way when there's such an upsurge or a rising of the entrepreneur or the self-employed borrower. That's the community that really needs the most help. And so when you can help them with their home loan and some of their investment properties, and you're kind of just expanding your scope, the opportunity is huge for you to retain that customer over and over and over again. So and to me, it's a no-brainer. Like,
it is a no-brainer. And that's just it. You mentioned something that I think is absolutely critical to this conversation is the education of our industry. We get so used to like, hey, this is what I really know. Somebody starts hearing non-QM and like, those are difficult loans. Like, I've got to learn something else. It's like, no, like, sure, you absolutely do. But that's how we're always changing. We're always evolving in this industry. And you have to find ways. Again, maybe you're like, well, I niche in this. I don't even want to go into it. Maybe that's not for you. But if you're looking for like ways, how can I ultimately benefit my consumers? How can I benefit those that I serve? How can I benefit those that I'm helping achieve that dream of home ownership? Then this is for you. This is for everybody. You should be looking into this, whether or not you plan on serving these clients you still should become educated. You still should learn about it, because the last thing you
Yeah.
want to do, none of us are going to turn away a deal right now. And if you're saying that, you're lying to yourself. I literally was with Elo's last week, and everybody's like, no way, I'm taking any deal, any opportunity that comes my way, I'm going to take advantage of it. So you have to become educated on this. So in that regard, Christy, I want you to talk about this real quick. When you're talking to brokers who are focused on non-QM, what strategies are you seeing? What's really working for loan officers right now with non-QM?
Yeah, I see. You know, what I see is it's interesting. I really think there's an opportunity for everybody to educate our referral sources, our referral partners, and real estate agents do not have really much of a clue that this is here and this is a viable product. And so the smartest brokers are going out there talking about it. And it's not just real estate agents, it's other referral sources as well, CPAs. There's so many different ways to get business in the door. And it's just about talking and educating. So instead of being in a loan file every 2 seconds, go out and meet a realtor or go to a shop and say hello and just talk about it. And just represent and be excited about it, and just show for those people that are kind of on the fence of whether they're going to buy or not, or what they're going to do. I mean, these are programs that really are beneficial to them for the long term. And it's really a viable option. So I think education, the people that are able to educate really are crushing it, because that's what goes viral, and that's what gets the word around.
I agree. Yeah. Katie, what are you seeing that, across the country? What strategies, what implementation are you really seeing when it comes to, mortgage professionals implementing non-QM within their business?
So there's definitely been an element of realtor education. I actually make myself available to go and speak on behalf of certain clients to their pools of realtors to kind of help drive some of this. But beyond that, I'm seeing, because I talk to people all over the country, have reps from, New York to Hawaii, and everybody has developed this a little bit differently in how that they're pairing up with different referral sources. So there are people that I'm seeing, again, talking about the community or a collaborative strategy. There's people I see who are doing a lot more cooperation, where I get referrals from AEs that only do HELOCs, right? Or I get referrals from people who might perceive themselves as my competition, but now they're sending loans this way to make sure that they're getting done. And so it's more about collaboratively being part of the mission-driven lending, right?
Serving the customer.
We're seeing, because it is ultimately about the borrowers, right? And I'm also seeing some very innovative strategies of people pairing up with bankruptcy attorneys and divorce attorneys, because our loans are able to be done one day out of BK, right? Sure. And so we have some targeted marketing where people are really picking up leads from refinancing people out of hard money. There's a lot of different ways in which I am seeing this product applied. There's so many people who have cash-based businesses or multiple gigs that they're stitching together, not working traditionally since COVID. And these loans kind of, again, fill that gap. And so I think that when I'm talking with people who are, transitioning away from maybe a little bit more of having the luxury of inbound leads, they're having to now hunker down and drive for business in different ways. And so it's, I'm continually impressed by the broker community in how entrepreneurial and tenacious they can be. Ooh. And it's wonderful to find out what's working in one market and then talk to somebody else in a different market and say, hey, tap into this within your neighborhood and let's see if it works here too. And so I really like sharing some of those strategies, because ultimately we're tapping into $1 trillion market of underserved borrowers.
Jeez.
And that's a really cool, Josh, that is a product that's super legit, so awesome. And it's our flagship product, and it's our ally product. It's the CDFI product that we are one of 2 lenders that could offer it. And it creates a huge opportunity for all the loan officers out there and broker partners to take advantage of that and really serve a community in a different way.
This is one of those things where both of you have mentioned, from realtors to partnering with CPAs, legal attorneys, and it's $1 trillion opportunity. Like, whoa, like all of us are talking about, you know, the industry's coming down. Oh, you know, we're seeing opportunities going away. And it's like, are you kidding me? Like, and I love that we mentioned this. This is not for every, if you're an LO and you're like, hey, I've got my niche. Hey, like we're talking about niche, great, stay there. But there are people out here who are listening today who are going to be like, hey, you know what? Like KT, you mentioned this, like people are going to be like, hey, well, I'm going to get educated on this because somebody's going to come across it. One of their consumers, one of their borrowers is going to be like, well, I don't qualify for this vanilla. I don't qualify for this conventional. Do you have anything else? And they're going to be like, well, I don't, but Christy does. Or like, that's why if you position yourselves like this, ladies and gentlemen, if you get educated, if you start working with champions. And again, Christy, Katie, this is one of those things. There's not a plethora of like education that you have to go through. There's some things that you have to understand. Yes, but again, this goes back to everything. If you want to become a master of your craft, you have to learn. You have to take the time. You have to be willing to put in the homework. Gary Vaynerchuk talks about it just as much as I like. You have to be willing to put in the 50 hours. Put in 50 hours. And how much is that going to pay? It will pay you dividends. But right now is the time to do it. You have to be willing to be dedicated to say, you know what? I'm going to spend the 20 to 25 to 50 hours. I'm going to learn non-QM, and then you're going to go out and freaking crush it. Like you ladies have said, $1 trillion, yo, you just throwing $1 trillion out the door. None of you want to do that. None of you want to pass that up.
It literally is. I mean, the product set, and when I was looking into it, is really so cool that it's something that's so unique and such an outlier. I think is really the most unique opportunity at Champions. And what's really even cooler about that, I know we're probably going to cover this later, but the way that we manufacture the whole process from start to finish, it's so friggin' different than anywhere I've ever worked at before. It's so refreshing to know that people are process refining over and over and over again, just to make the experience easy and to assure that to our broker partners that this does not have to be scary. We have support, you talk to our directors, you talk to our underwriters directly. It really is a partnership, and it's really something that I'm really proud of to talk about because it really lives here and it's really true. And so authenticity, this company is all about authentic, and this KT is one of the most transparent people out there, and it's really a pleasure to work with her. And I know you vibe on that too, Josh. I mean, because that's what we create content around. And this is a company and a product set that I think is going to help everyone.
This is why I'm so excited about it, is because it is going to help our community. It is going to help us as originators. It's going to help those that we serve, the end consumer. That's what I was so excited for when we first started chatting and we first started discussing. Like, I was just like, this is one of those products. This is one of those times within our industry where instead of looking at it as a downturn, instead of looking at like, oh, you know, times are hard, find the golden goose. This is it. Like, this is one of those opportunities that you have to find the opportunity in the downtimes, in the downturns. Anybody who was a KT, you mentioned this, going through 07, 08, all of us who were in the industry, like, we had to push through it. We all found opportunities to thrive. And if you didn't, then you had to get out of the industry. Now is one of those times you have to make that decision. So right along with what you're saying, Christy, I want to, as we start to wrap things up here, as we start to come down, because this has been such one of those to me that if you are listening to this, both KT and Christy have given you multiple actionable items, people that you can go start talking with, from attorneys to your referral partners, your realtors that are just uneducated with. How many realtors would just be like, whoa, wait a second, I've got a couple borrowers that I was trying to do their listing, but I told them they couldn't even qualify because they had a BK or they had this or that. Boom. How valuable are you to them now? They're like, wait a minute, you won me another deal. Let's do this. So as we start to, like I said, let's start to wrap this up. I have to know, because again, you both come from these incredible backgrounds. I want to know, why champions? KT, why champions? Why now? Of all the opportunity that's out there, why champions?
That's a very easy question for me to answer. So I have had lots of success working for Evan in the past. When he approached me with this and said, hey, let's do it, I couldn't think of anybody that I would rather, jump into a foxhole with during a time where we're trying to take people from survival mode and saving their pipelines into thriving mode and helping people adapt, right? And I know that that's very similar to what we did before. when we were doing low FICO government loans. And I know how passionate and committed and talented he is. I know that I'm working with the best of the best in terms of Natalie and what has been designed in terms of process flow. When Evan asked me, who I wanted for marketing, I had one name, Christy. And I basically feel like at Champions, we've created an all-star team. Ooh. And we're delivering service that is worthy of our community. And I can be really proud and stand behind the offering, not just from a product standpoint, but also from a process standpoint, from a cultural standpoint. And just beyond that, it feels really good to not be, the 70th person approaching a customer selling vanilla ice cream when I've got cotton candy, right?
Hey, I like that. You mentioned something right there, KT, that is for me one of those absolutely differentiating. Like you said, you're not just another ice cream shop serving vanilla, but it's teamwork. You guys have an incredible team of champions. We discussed this with Patty last month. We've talked about this with Evan, and for those, we've mentioned Evan a couple of times. So Evan Stone, the CEO of Champions Funding, he is awesome. He's building a team. He's bringing people together in ways that we haven't seen. Like in this industry has been there's been a lot of busyness the last few years. We've all had a lot of success, but Evan is bringing in this team that is absolutely bar none. It's amazing to watch. So Christy, I'm going to go same question as we wrap this up. Yeah. I know passion lies at the surface with you. So why Champions?
Yeah. Champions. I mean, I made the switch. I made the hop because I took a little bit of a risk jumping into the non-QM space, but I'm glad I did, because what I found on the other side is really something beautiful that we're growing here. So when I say why Champions, I talk to our account executives, all happy. I talk to our underwriting staff, all happy. I talk to everybody. Everyone's happy. Brokers are happy. They send us floods of emails saying, oh my gosh, I'm sending all my deals to you, kind of thing. And so it's the energy and the spirit in which we're doing it at Champions is really what drives me to do my best marketing work with my team of amazing marketers to get the word out there, because it's really true. Oof. Authenticity is huge for me, and this is it.
It is very authentic, very genuine, very again, it feels like family. It's community. Yeah. That's what this industry has been built on. And I feel like we've almost gotten away from that because we have been so busy over the last couple of years. Yeah. And it's such a breath of fresh air when you see companies like Champions truly coming back and bringing that full circle again. It's hey, we are a community. Yes, things may be difficult, but having a partner like Champions that can actually hey, where are the opportunities at? Where can we find this $1 trillion opportunity? And it's right there in front of us. And you're the one saying, let's go take it together, hand in hand. Yes. We can go do this, and let's absolutely dominate the market.
Message us here.
Right?
We are here to help you.
Dude, that's exactly. These ladies are here. The entire team at Champions. They want to help. That's why we're doing this. That's why we're sharing this episode. Why we're having this discussion. And we're just starting to touch the tip of the iceberg, ladies and gentlemen. You really want to get after it. Reach out to Christy. Reach out to KT. Reach out to the incredible team at Champions, and let them help you. Let them guide you so you can ultimately provide that value to your customer, to your consumer. Katie, Christy, this has been absolutely amazing. This has been so much fun. And like I said, this is just the beginning of it all. So thank you so much, Isaac. Thank you so much for all the comments, Isaac. Great show. Thank you. Thank you, Isaac, for tuning in. It was an incredible episode. Ladies, you have been absolutely brilliant. And I cannot thank both of you enough for joining us today.
Thank you. You're awesome, Josh, as always. You're the best.
We have fun here. Ladies and gentlemen, I know you've got something absolutely amazing out of this episode, because I know I did. You have to take advantage of the opportunities that are right before you. Stop getting down on yourself. Stop worrying about it. You just have to go after it. Now is the time. If you want to differentiate yourself, you have to reach out to the team right now and let them know. Say, hey, I'm willing to dedicate myself. As I always mention, you have to be willing to put in the effort. You have to be willing to put in the work. It's not going to fall into your lap, but they just laid it out for you. It's right here. It's yours for the taking. Be a champion. Get after it. With that, ladies and gentlemen, as always, we appreciate you. We love you. Now it's time for all of you to go shred, go show up, hustle, repeat every day. See ya.